What's going on, everyone, and welcome to the Deadzone, Unturned's first YouTuber-hosted podcast featuring unturned YouTubers you probably know around the community. Today we have Hole Baker.
Hey guys.
We have Nilex.
What's going on?
Phantom Miner.
Hey.
Quaz was red.
Giggity goo.
And me, Reunion. So we all know about the recent additions into Hawaii, am I right?
Yeah.
I'm still waiting for Russia to come out.
Okay. Okay, look. I want to start this off with a real question. We're gonna get really opinionated here, okay? How do we all feel about how it was introduced and what was added? What are you guys feeling here?
You mean like Hawaii in general, or just the recent?
Yeah, I mean, like, kind of like whenever it was first added, like the feelings that everybody was having towards it were kind of like, it's not really field, it's kind of too buggy, or it feels like it's empty in some areas, like where are the dead zones, but,
Oh, yeah. I mean, honestly, it didn't have the same feel as Russia when it first came out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's for sure. But I've been playing on it, the past few days, and it's definitely grown on me. I'm liking it a lot more now. But initially, yeah, it didn't have, I didn't feel like it had anything new to bring, like Russia did.
Yeah, I sort of have to agree with Nilex. The whole adding of new maps by workshop creators is a great idea, I think, in theory. But I know this is going to be a very unpopular opinion. But personally, I think adding more maps to Unturned is not the right thing to do, because it splits the player base, and then you have less populated servers.
I agree.
And so, and while it's not even it's also a large map, just like Russia. It's island themed like PEI, and I'm not really sure it added anything that was really worthwhile.
Well, I mean, I kind of agree with that statement, but in the same fact, I love more maps being added to Unturned. Don't get me wrong, I really do love, variation across Unturned. This one did bring a lot of new colors, a lot of new items, some things that we never thought was possible in Unturned itself, but I kind of see what you mean about with the other maps being kind of way too relevant and close with Hawaii, but at the same time, I would have rather had Hawaii than Russia. It's not really because I didn't like what Russia gave, I really do love all the different guns we got with it, the new vehicles, and even the new things that were introduced with buildings, and everything that came with it was perfect. But the map itself, what Russia's problem was, Russia compared to Hawaii, Russia's more open and bland, and a lot of people say it's kind of harder to get loot on Russia, and you have to go all the way to the top of the map. It's called loot progression, right? I necessarily don't like loot progression. I loved Hawaii before its recent changes to fix everything, especially to modify the volcano. The one thing I loved about Hawaii before its changes was where you could spawn anywhere around the map, kind of like PEI. And if you spawn at the military location, you'd have a big advantage over other people. But other people could also spawn at the military location. I feel like a lot of people enjoy loot progression, but me as a player, on my aspect, my point of view is basically, I'd rather have a lucky chance, of getting some loot immediately rather than having to work up for it. Otherwise, because if I die and I walk all the way back up there and I keep getting killed before I can get that loot, I'm spending 20 minutes to walk across the map to get nothing, and I'm just back where I started, rather than having the chance to spawn at a military location.
Yeah, I think that one of the things Hawaii does better than Russia is utilizing the water. I mean, players aren't necessarily just hanging out in the water all the time, so it forces more interactions by having so much of the map covered by water. And that's one of the reasons why you get more player interactions on PEI rather than Washington. And sort of the same thing for Hawaii versus Russia. And yeah, I think that it is a lot less bland in color and in play.
I could totally agree with that, honestly. I feel like that newer players, when it came gosh, I'm brain farting right now. When it comes to back to what you were saying, Union, the loot progression and stuff, newer players, when they jump into the game, they want to be able to go in with the expectation that they're going to have fun, explore, get a bunch of good gear, and then, continue playing from then on. But let's say a new player who let's say he just downloaded Unturned, right? Goes into a Hawaii map, and oh snap, everybody has Hell's Furies and Shadow Stalkers, and they're all at the bottom of the map, while this guy over here is hey, I want to go up to the top of the map to get some loot, but he can't even do that because he's just going to keep getting killed or KOS by some bandit,
Yeah.
So the spawns, basically being able to spawn anywhere in the map with a lucky chance of being able to find loot, honestly really did help newer players to be able to get excited to continue playing on the server or whatever thing that they're doing.
And I feel like that's where the changes and additions to, like, after Hawaii was released, people were begging for changes. I mean, we already knew Hawaii wasn't done being developed. And we technically got the beta release of Hawaii. But after people started complaining about everything and changes were made, now it's my turn to complain. And I just don't like loot progression, It just really screws you over when you die immediately and you're back to point one.
Yeah, you wouldn't even be able to go back and find your loot all the way up at the top. Like, let's say, you're at the volcano, right? Let's say you build a little base there, don't even have time for a bedroll, and then bam, you get killed. All of your stuff is just gone. You can never get it back.
I think I'm gonna play devil's advocate for loot progression, because like maybe not in practice this is how it works, but at least in theory, the idea is that highly geared players will stay in the north. That way, lower geared players have the time, like down in the low loot areas, to get low loot and work their way up. Hoping that all the people that are very geared, very decked out, will stay in the north and not bother the people that are just spawning in. And so, I mean, in that way, in Hawaii, you could spawn next to someone that is very, very looted.
Well,
But, I mean, the idea is on Russia that wouldn't happen.
most of the geared players will go and find the less geared players because some people like PvP more than just looking for gear.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes, you don't want to give the lower competitors time to come and kill you. That's why they always spawn camp or like find out where you're going. They target your little group and they take you out before you can even get up to the point where you could be near killing them. You know what I'm saying?
Like, they could have maple strikes and they won't even wait for you to get a skull field. That's like how some players play.
That's the one thing that always pops into my mind though. Like whenever Hawaii came out, I was comparing it to either Washington or PEI, where you have the chance to spawn anywhere. And then you see Yukon also kind of carries that same aspect, but not really as much as Hawaii did. And then you have the comparison from Russia to Hawaii. Like I said, Russia always puts you down at the bottom. It's a tier. You go up 1 tier, 2 tier, 3 tier. Hawaii just did the same thing that PEI and Washington did. And that's why I think PEI and Washington are still some of the most popular maps in Unturned. Because loot progression is what kills the game. It makes it unfun to play. Especially when you keep getting camped at like this one single location. You're just lockbound until you log out.
Exactly.
I feel like
The thing is, like with Hawaii and stuff, you might not get loot progression, but you get people just camping out a Leaker base, for example. There's not a lot of like high-end military locations like that where people can just, go around and be spread out. Now that he's added the ship like at the other end of the map, that kind of helps it, but it's a dead zone, so not a lot of people will be going there. So like, it's still the problem is a Leaker base will be
camp.
the equivalent to north of Russia, for example.
Personally, in my opinion, I don't even think that dead zone was necessarily needed also. Like, not every map has to have a dead zone, you know what I'm saying? That dead zone kind of feels like a locked area that nobody's ever going to visit. And if you do, the only chance you're getting there is if you've already got decked out from the upper tiers. Which means nobody from the lower or mid tier is going to be able to go over there. So it's just another area for the high tiers to get more looted.
Yeah, like, what's the point of going to a dead zone if you already have a gas mask and you probably have a shitload of guns from finding them at base or something like that?
Hey, just out of curiosity, have any of you guys actually gone to a dead zone, like on a vanilla style server?
Oh, yeah.
Like you found the loot to go to a dead zone yourself?
A couple times, I would
It's
say.
pretty
Okay.
difficult.
But not that often, though. Like,
I would say
it's really rare.
it's like not worth finding the gear, really.
Yeah, like I think on the vast majority of servers that don't have kits and maybe don't have TPs, I mean, while dead zones have the most loot, not a lot of players can even visit them. So it's almost like you guys were saying, like they're off limits.
They're basically just parts of the map that they added.
Yeah, I mean, like, I
think-
remember a couple times that I would play with Boom, and what we would be doing is we'd be looking for gas masks and stuff. And honestly, I don't know about you guys, but when I tried, it's impossible to find a friggin' gas mask. And it's just the whole thing. Filters even. It's really difficult to even get yourself set up to even go into these dead zones. So
And you go
I
into a
just,
dead
like,
zone and you probably have a geared player who's already like there just looting, he's gonna shoot you and he gets more loot.
Exactly. Like, I just don't see the point. I feel like it's just like you just work yourself up to go over there, and then after that you have really nothing to do because you already you would only visit there like once ever, and then you would never go back. You wouldn't want to because there's no need. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, even then, I don't think the loot is worth it either. Like, the trouble you have to go through finding the gas mask, finding the fillers, and then the loot you get, yeah, it's good, but it's not worth it, I don't think.
It's not
Especially,
worth going around
like,
the map.
if you think about that, especially on Hawaii, there's only like a few areas you could get gas mask on, like 3 or 4 at max. And most of these places are on lockdown by these higher competitors that have already stayed on the server and gotten loot beyond belief.
Mm-hmm.
If it were to come to, like, let's say, you know, I feel like that if they were to spread out spawns for the gas mask and stuff, like, let's say that they're, you know, that underwater little bunker thing in Hawaii. If, like, let's say there was a spawn over there, and maybe there's a gas mask spawn right next to the volcano, and maybe some sort of science area. If I started seeing gas masks, like, everywhere, not everywhere, but, you know, like, if I see it more often than once every 12 hours, then, you know, maybe it would make it more worth it for me to go out to these dead zones. But just otherwise adding them is just pointless.
Yeah.
I
I feel
think-
like... Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, yeah, just if you remove the dead zone from the, I forget the name of it, the dead zone ship that is currently. If the dead zone was removed, I think it'd be a lot more balanced. You wouldn't have people just staying at one military location, for example. They would be a lot more spread out, but like you said earlier, since it may as well be off bounds, no one really goes there, so...
Now, another idea, though, that just popped in my head is what if they had 2 dead zone ships and more gas masks were dispersed? Then that would leave players to have multiple options to go into these places, you know? It not necessarily to make it more out of bounds. Oh, you can't go there or you can't go there. But, like, let's say if the loot was accessible, a lot more accessible, a lot easier for people to go in there to discover whatever is in these dead zones. I feel like that would be beneficial.
There's one thing, like, I don't really understand the point of gas mask even being in game, especially when they only have one suitable use, which is to go to these dead zones. But if that area is already located and already taken down, why not just also make it to be able to see through smoke, like smoke grenades? A lot of people always run into these problems because they just get spammed everywhere. Why not just also make it where you walk in smoke and it already fogs out the glasses, but instead with a gas mask, you can see straight through it. You don't even see the smoke.
That would be a good idea. That actually would be pretty nice. Probably to also maybe add like a gas grenade even to do the same effect.
Now, this is only one of the issues with Hawaii for me, though, the dead zones.
Yeah.
But what else do you guys also think that's messed up with Hawaii's introduction? Like, what else is messed up with the area?
Well, I remember the old volcano. Kind of looked sad.
A little bit of shield volcano.
I still think the new one isn't anything special either. Like,
Yeah.
it could definitely be improved further.
Lava falls.
It kind of looks like one of those lakes you'd see at a Chinese restaurant.
Yeah.
It's hot water, dude. That's all it is.
It is hot water. Didn't one of you guys like find a glitch at one point? Like,
yeah, that's
we were
so
able to
glitch.
build a base in it.
Yeah,
Hawaii
that's
is-
another thing. It's like, does anybody else feel like Hawaii's rushed? Like they're not even checking some sort, like some parts of the areas are just blatantly not even checked?
I don't know. I mean, like, I remember clearly underwater, underneath the little underwater bunker, there was this little clipping point that where you weren't able to, like, what am I trying to say? You were able to swim underwater underneath the bunker, and there's these little models that were just not fit right. And then after the recent update, they totally fixed that. They also fixed the little ladder inside the water to swim through the base. So, I mean, I think that they're looking, they just don't know where to look.
I feel like Hawaii.
I think
is
you guys
one of
just. Sorry, go ahead.
I feel like Hawaii is one of the most buggiest maps that's ever came out next to Russia.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I mean, Russia didn't really have very many floating props and stuff like Hawaii did on release.
You couldn't go in the mountains either.
And I mean, Nelson has the power. If he wanted to, he could give people access to like a public beta environment, and the unturned community would go crazy finding bugs for him
Exactly.
days before the launch.
I think.
I mean,
Oh, sorry. What?
it would be very easy just to advertise it on the unturned Reddit and only get the very dedicated players.
My
Yeah.
biggest issue with Hawaii was, you guys know whenever Hawaii came out, I streamed and got a lot of viewers, right? So I had a ton of people watching me at one point. But during my 5 to 7 hour stream of the first time Hawaii was ever released, I found so many problems. I even like drove into the volcano on stream by complete accident. And I thought it was going to kill me and blow me up, but absolutely nothing happened. I was like, this map, there's no way this is possible. It's like, are they even looking for anything wrong with it? You know what I'm saying? Like, also, there's like Baker said, floating rocks, open areas. There's some areas we could just walk out of bounds, you know? Open areas of land. It's like, I mean, I understand they're fixing it and working on it, but still, you know, that's a throw off to me as a player, just seeing all these bugs from a rushed release. It's like, I want a perfectly finished map that I can play with my friends and have no worries of falling underneath the map.
I'd rather wait for a totally complete map and then not just a beta map that's full of bugs. But, you know, everyone's so hyped about Hawaii, and Nelson's like, should I release it at midnight? And everyone wanted it. He was basically, like, obliged to, like, release it with bugs because everyone was just wanting it so bad.
That's where I thought he messed up. If any of you else if anyone else agrees with me, whenever Nelson released that tweet of saying should we release a major update at night, that was his first problem. You never release a major update until you check over it in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're just rushing it at that point.
I think that the hype was just really built up, and everyone just got absolutely excited, demanding practically, you know, just, hey, release the map. I don't care. Give it to me now. We want it. So it's like...
Yeah,
Well, yeah, that hype was partially created by Nelson. I mean, not to discredit him and say that this is wrong or anything, but he's been working on, you know, map making changes or optimization changes, and the more average user of Unturned probably saw this as almost like Nelson had like given up creating content. That's why so much demand was for this new map.
Yeah. I kind of feel you, yeah.
I feel like items probably, you know, adding new items like new guns and new cars and new stuff does delay some, like, you know, anticipation for a new map. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Of course, though, you don't need to add, like, a ton of new items to a game. I understand that. But
Right, I'm not... Yeah.
it does quench the fans.
I'm just talking for the average user.
Yeah, that's true.
Does,
I don't know how...
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I don't know how you guys find all these bugs. I mean, I've been playing for like the map since it came out, and I've not found one bug. I don't know like what you guys do, but
we
you know, I just kind of.
Well, I mean, does anybody... Okay, I'm going to straight off topic right quick. Does anybody else feel like Hawaii's lack of items also made it a kind of like a weird update? It didn't really feel like a lot was added?
Yeah, it was just a map and some
Definitely.
cars. I feel like more guns, if they were added, it would be a lot better.
Like, I'm not saying I'm not going cuckoo for coconuts, but I'm just saying, you know, more items would have been, you know, at least interesting.
Yeah.
Look at Washington to Russia, and then Russia to Hawaii. You know, there's a major difference there.
Definitely.
The upgrade from Washington to Russia, and then going from Russia to Hawaii. It's not like, I mean, it's definitely, you know, a big update, but not as big, like not as many items, not as many, you know, whatever features. But yeah, I mean, I don't want to like you completely shit over it because I love the map now. But yeah, that was just how it initially felt for me.
I like hated Hawaii. I mean, not Hawaii, but Russia when it came out because I didn't really like it that much. It was hyped by the community, but it wasn't the best map. I would rather play Washington over Russia, and I still want to play Washington over Russia because it's not really that fun for me.
At first, when Russia came out, I think intimidated probably was the word to describe how I felt about it. It's because it was huge. You know, there's a bunch of this good loot, but you had to travel all the way over to go even find anything that's cool. And then whenever I would go, like, let's say to Moscow or something, I would just instantly get killed by the first guy with a gun. I didn't really get to explore the map until, you know, I pretty much joined a creative server, and then it's like, all right, what items are in the game? I don't even know. You know?
I think that's where Hawaii did it right, though. If anybody notices, like, Hawaii has spread out islands, and the main island itself is probably as big as Washington, but the map size is as Russia, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But the islands that are spread out around it are easily accessible by anybody going around, even though they really don't have much loot or much to explore. They're perfect areas to make a base, you know, like, go back and store your stuff as a home area to go back to. But Hawaii's main island is the perfect size for exploration. And there's even areas where you could hide from other people if they chase you. Dark caves, houses everywhere. Everything is so close that it's the perfect thing to explore if you're an adventurer in Unturned or just a normal survival player.
Yeah. I could agree with that.
I feel like the maps have different kind of difficulties. Like PEI and Washington, that's for like basic players, and then you have Russia, which is for the hardest, and then Hawaii would be most like normal, maybe immediate.
Yeah, it's definitely, you know, you fast paced. You get in, you can get loot very easily.
PvP, but like
It's a lot,
Russia
yeah,
is
easier,
more
I guess.
surviving than PvP.
Do you guys think that there was maps of this kind of quality? I mean, although we're being critical of Hawaii, we all know that this is a very well polished map. And does the workshop even have maps of this kind of caliber? And if it does, why don't we see more of these kind of maps becoming popular? Why does Nelson have to basically force a map onto the community?
I feel like
That's.
that.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, you go ahead. Don't worry.
I was gonna say it's like that's where I think one of the other problems is. He has this dedicated team to making these workshop maps, and like they're curated maps, and they always get in game. But the one problem is, I don't really think he's either seeking out new people to help the team, or that if the team doesn't really want more people to come on and help with them, if you know what I'm saying. There's no diversity. It's the same thing as Russia. Russia and Hawaii both look the same because they're made by the same people. And then the other maps are made by Nelson. Nelson has this editing, this editing physique where it's really good. Popular maps. PEI in Washington, amazing. Yukon, maybe not the best, but, his maps are always, well known by the players. Everybody loves them. And then you have Russia, everybody has split opinions about. And with Hawaii's recent introduction, there's also a lot more split opinions.
Yeah, I think having like different people working on the maps for a wide release for everybody to experience, I feel like it really does split. It really does split the player base. I remember when someone was mentioning, PEI and Washington having that be for like the easier going people. It's like easy mode, and then like Russia being like just straight to hard mode. And then Yukon is just an absolute nightmare. But
Talk about Yukon.
but I think with having different people creating maps, though, I think it does bring some sort of level of difficulty to the player themselves. And I guess the thing I'm wondering though is that has Nelson thought of bringing on other people from the community to help work on the maps? When it comes to the design, because I mean, let's face it, this Hawaii and with Russia, it's huge and it's kind of tiered up and it's layered. Everybody starts on the bottom, works their way up to the top. Has Nelson thought about going back to the roots of going to make a map that's generalized, one big huge place, kind of like PEI, but a lot bigger, so that way you're able to explore? Has he thought of that?
But saying that, I think Nelson has like a vision for Unturned. Like they're all the maps are kind of the same sort of style. I don't think as well he has to factor like performance as well, so he can't put too much detail into them. But I think generally he kind of designs them all the same to fit like his style, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
But yeah, he could definitely like expand on it and try out new things.
Speaking of him trying out new things, when are we ever going to get a new arena map? Has anybody ever been wondering where are the new arena maps? Everybody loves arena. It's one of the most popular game modes in Unturned. But yet we still haven't received anything new since it came out. With Alpha Valley, that's about it.
I mean, really, I think this is the perfect area to test out curated maps. You could grab any of Dana B's maps off the workshop and port them over into the official, and I think they would absolutely kill. I mean, I've personally put many hours into his workshop maps, and they're very, very good.
They're extremely good. He puts a lot of dedication, and for him to be a solo team, that is insane.
It really is.
I feel like honestly, like with more workshop created maps from people, and those being introduced into the game, like what you're trying to say, the arena stuff, more stuff like that, more people to experience, more people to play that. I feel like that will be really beneficial. It gives people variety and it gives people, something else to look at rather than, oh look, Hawaii's here. Okay, I got bored of Hawaii. What's next? Arena keeps people going. Like I still see people playing on like creative arena servers all the time, nonstop, and that's all what they play. So
Definitely.
I feel like we need something else.
Arena is the most fun game mode in Unturned to me, right? I know that's a very opinionated statement, but whenever you think about it, it's not really that hard to make arena maps. Let alone, if you think about big maps, these are like months and months into working and projects and everything. But then you got these singular arena maps, which are like spot on, easy to make. Like what Baker said, it would be great if there was some type of way to introduce curated maps. and then like either they're voted in or they're just popular opinionated in, or if Nelson seems they're fit to be in, and they can be rotated in and out, so they're not always in the game, but they're in for maybe a short period of time.
Yeah. I think that's actually a great way to look at it. I mean, remember the paintball map?
Mm-hmm.
I remember when people, there was like just this thread that somebody was talking about of the concept of, you know, having like a paintball map, and then that got introduced. And there was like this huge storm of videos of just people nonstop playing that. And then Creative Arena then comes around. Everybody starts doing that. I think the next step for whatever he thinks of, the next thing, people are going to just eat it up and they're going to love it.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of like making new game modes, and by the way, I absolutely love the paintball game mode. I absolutely played the shit out of that, and I think a good direction maybe to take Unturned is, or I mean not the entire game, but a branch off of another game mode would be some kind of game mode people can really get invested in, like some. I'm sort of a competitive type of person, and it would be interesting to see some sort of game mode where you can get ranked or compete against other people in a more meaningful way, other than, you know, a battle royale style arena, which we already have.
Did you guys hear? That was a long time ago, and it was like kind of like a beta thing, but it was not really big at all. It was like a horde mode that he was like in development of sorts, but then he just scrapped the whole concept. You guys remember that?
Yeah, it was like
Honestly,
He put in the horde beacon and got rid of the horde mode. That was a really that was a bummer.
That was a bummer.
Yeah.
Like, but I think that like if somebody or anybody or he picked that back up, I know for a fact that a lot of people would be excited for it. Cough, hint, wink, me. And you know, I just like, I feel like that, you know, more diversity in game modes really does pick up people and gets them to play the game. And I think that was a good idea at one point.
And one of the faults of it at the time was that we only had the regular zombies. I mean, I believe we didn't even have the crawling zombies at the time and stuff.
Yeah, no.
But now we have spitter zombies, fire zombies, mega zombies, like just crazy amount of very interesting zombies that would fit very well into a horde mode, like Left 4 Dead style.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's just why I love this game. You can take it so many different directions, like from like arcade zombie shooter horde mode to like competitive ranked games, like you were saying earlier.
Yo,
There's just so much room to wiggle with this.
yo, Alex, didn't we play like a gun game mode once? It was like
Oh, yeah.
modded gun game. That was fun. I would love to
That
see
was
the
very
actual
fun, yeah.
official.
Oh yeah, I'm very happy that Nelson added the modules
Yeah,
quite a while
definitely.
back. But although I haven't really personally played a lot of the modules, I would actually be interested in seeing what people have managed to come up with.
Yeah, I think with diversity of game modes, honestly, if Nelson decides to add more stuff, I don't want to say add more stuff. That kind of sounds a little mean. But I would say, you know, if he decides to implement new game modes with following this release of this new map, Hawaii, I think that, you know, it's going to attract a lot more attention and it's going to bring people together into the game. I think it'll make it exciting again.
Speaking
And,
oh, go ahead.
I was about to take the words right out of your mouth. Speaking of adding more stuff, with the new workshop curated crates that Nelson has been implementing, and he hasn't been adding any more skins to the stockpile, is the stockpile going to slowly die?
This is a hard topic for me.
Yeah, this hits close to home for Union.
From the perspective of a person who doesn't make skins, and, you know, all what I do is I just look at the workshop and say, hey, that looks pretty cool. Why is that not in the game? I think that, honestly, like, I haven't seen a new curated item, you know, just an individual item for purchase. I haven't seen one of those in a while, you know?
Mm-hmm.
There was no hype. There's nothing new. And the only thing that really caught my eye was the one fan curated, what was it called? Workshop crate? Was that what it's called?
Yeah, January workshop.
Yeah, I only saw that, and I also noticed that there was like basically like the same people making the same skins in that thing. But that's besides the point. What I noticed is that there was only that. I didn't see any curated items individual out for the market. I was like, what's with that? I want to see more, honestly.
Yeah, when was the last time an actual like curated thing was added by itself into the game?
Yeah, do you know, Union?
Oh, do what?
Do you know the exact time the last stockpile was added?
With I mean, it's probably been ever since the January crate was introduced. I think 2 weeks prior to that, there may have been one. I'm not too sure. My memory's kind of foggy because the last time an item was accepted, I'm pretty sure one of mine was in that like row of items that were accepted into game.
I think it
But,
was Christmas.
Yeah, it was around Christmas, I think so. But with me, my personal opinion, since I've always made a lot of workshop items and I love making costumes and cosmetics, I'm not really a gun skin type of guy. I mean, I've made one, I've got one in game. It's a lot of fun, but I'm more into costumes, modeling custom things. The thing is, though, with these new workshop crates, I don't really feel like Nelson's going out of his way to look for costumes, let alone any type of cosmetics. I think he's more of going for these random futuristic skins that we all know that just look the same like each other skin that's added. These collections or these futuristic line skins. And that brings up another question. Will we ever get more costumes in game? Sure, we will, but with these new crates, we don't even know if he's ever looking for singular items or costumes to be introduced ever again, because it looks like the crates are taking over the curated workshop.
And from a consumer standpoint, if you like a skin, it's better to be able to go and purchase that exact skin that you want from the stockpile rather than having to open crates until you get the one you want.
I have like
for sure.
Like for example, the backyard. What's it called? The backyard maple strike. This is totally not a plug because Boom made it, but no. Honestly, though, I honestly enjoyed it. I mean, I love. Let's admit, it looks like a Nerf gun, but like, I love Nerf guns, and I thought that skin was cool, and I bought that thing like immediately because that skin looked cool individually by itself. But now I'm not seeing any more new things that look cool because nothing else is coming up. That's just standalone for itself to be purchased, and like. I don't know. I find it sad. A little bit because I really want to see more. Instead
and if you
of
were to
crossing
see
my fingers.
a skin that you liked, like in a crate, like you wouldn't, buy the crate just until you got the specific skin you wanted.
I think
that's the thing.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, with your recent video, Union, that we did, I was looking for like Hawaii things to buy, just to like make my character look a bit more Hawaii, but I couldn't buy like a singular item. I had to go and buy a crate and then see what I got out of that, and I ended up getting the shades, and I didn't want them. Yeah, didn't look very Hawaii. I was on like a pineapple or something, but like you were saying, you can't individually buy it, so.
Well, I mean,
sucks.
with the Hawaii crates, you can. They're not curated, but so for instance, the January crate, since it is curated, back to Baker's point. You can't really like get something you really want until it comes on the market, and at that point, if somebody buys that skin off the market, the creator doesn't really get any revenue from that purchase. It's just Steam at this point. So the creator is getting nothing from these purchases anymore, rather than the skins being sold one for one off the actual stockpile. At this point, I also feel like the stockpile is not really advertised in the best way it could be. A lot of players, I'm pretty sure over half the community of Unturned don't even know the stockpile exists. Because I've had people come up to me and ask me, where did I get these skins? Or like, where are these skins coming from? They've even offered to overpay like $5 to $10 worth of mythicals for this one skin that I paid $1 for. And I feel like a lot of people are being scammed because they don't know the stockpile exists. They just think these skins are drops.
Because you have to go into your inventory and then find stockpile. It's like not on the main menu. You got to go like 2 pages in just to find it. Like if you put
There's
it on
no
the main
real
menu,
area, yeah.
If you put it on the main menu, just like this unturned stockpile, I feel like it would have more people buying stockpile stuff instead of just looking on the market.
Kind of like how TF2 shows the Manco store perfectly. It's like perfectly right there, just in case you wanted to know where to get more cosmetical items.
Yeah. I feel like some sort of link in the front that shows the stockpile and the marketplace. Kind of shows the difference between each other.
Okay, we need to be quiet,
that way
please.
people
Thank you.
understand, hey, that's where I can get this type of skin, and this is where I get the boxes, I feel like that would be great for people for someone to, show the difference between each other. I think that would be nice.
Am I the only person that sort of views like the whole crate way of getting skins? Lots of games have adopted this, Counter-Strike, H1Z1 Unturned and all that. Mm-hmm. It's sort of a scam in my opinion.
It kind of does feel like it, yeah.
You have to buy a crate and a key, and then you get something worth the vast majority of the time much less than the crate and the key. When with the stockpile, you can see the item, you can see the price, and you can evaluate if the item is worth the price, and you can make the decision for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
creates more of a gamble than anything, really.
Yeah, I think the
It
way
is gambling.
Yeah, I think that. I mean, I'm probably like the worst example to be talking about this, but gambling's fun. But you know, opening up crates. I mean, honestly, it's fun. It's kind of thrilling in a way, and that's that. I mean, I see that appeal, and that's really the appeal that gets me to want to do that. I mean, heck, I have a bunch of like blue cases even still from like the very beginning, still in my inventory because I just here and there I like to open up and have the thrill of like, oh, I wonder what I'm gonna get. Crossing my fingers, hopefully I can get something cool. At the same time, though, I like absolutely agree, Baker, that you know having that system set in place really does feel like you're getting scammed because you know you're pretty much paying $1 and however much for the crate depending on how much the box is or whatever.
Like the new crates for January are like $2 when they first came out.
Yeah, exactly, right? And it's like, you know, you'd be basically paying way too much for something that is not really worth that.
Mm-hmm.
With
Does
the stockpile.
Oh, continue. Sorry.
But yeah, just basically to wrap up, with the stockpile, you're able to just pick an item that you know its value. That's why I think it's great about the stockpile.
So I have one thing to ask all of you. Do you think the January Workshop crate was introduced as it should have been? Because my biggest problem was it was introduced as a drop rather than a buyable item off the stockpile, such as the Hawaii crate or the Russia crate where you buy it and immediately unbox it. Why did Nelson make the key purchasable rather than just making the crate a present where you can unbox it, same as the Hawaii and Russia one?
I think that would have been nice, actually, right there.
You
what
had to pay
just
like
said.
an extra $1 just to open the box, really.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense because if you buy the crate, it would support the developers and the creators immediately. But if you're buying the key, only the key sales will go to the people who created the skins for the crate. And if you buy the crate off the market, nobody gets any money except for Steam. So even the people who created the items in that crate don't get any proceeds rather than just the key. So why not just make the crate purchasable? That way they can unbox it immediately and all the money made from it can just go straight to them.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, I can agree to that. I feel like that when it comes to you know, workshop curated items, I feel like that, you know, the proceeds should go directly to the people who made who made those items and not have to have like some sort of workaround behind it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But like, you know, when it came, like, let's say back in the day when boxes were new, when all these crates were new, and he just introduced all these gun skins and stuff. I feel like without having these, oh crud, I'm losing track of my thought.
That's cool.
Crud. You know, Nelson started to make skins, right? And then it was, you know, basically all the one man show. He was making all these skins, and then he would make a key, and it starts like that, right? But then once other people get in, when the workshop curators make items, I feel like that it should be directly, directly benefiting them. When they're remaking another box to add an extra step to getting these skins, I feel like it's kind of a slap in the face, in a way, you know. It's
Right. If Nelson's using other people's skins in his game, he should put it in the best format to make the content creators earn their fair share of the money.
Exactly. Thank you. That's exactly what I was trying to say.
Like, why put them in a crate when you can just put them on the stockpile itself and people will be like, oh, the skin's like a duck, a ball.
Exactly.
Like
There's no point for a crate. Even though I know people want like special versions of these skins, there's no real need
like
for
Waz
it.
was saying, there is definitely a reason why all these games, you know, including the games I was talking about earlier that use the crate format, It's not because they're trying to be friendly for the consumers. It's because it's the most profitable. People are more likely to spend, you know, $40 opening crates than buy a $40 item just straight out of pocket.
Yeah.
Just buying a very nice skin for $40
Exactly.
is just not as appealing as opening up crates, because in the back of your mind you're thinking, I'm going to get 40, you know, mythical items and it's going to be the greatest. And of course that never happens.
People are naive enough to do that.
That's just that's what gambling is. You know, the rush makes you feel like you're going to win the next time.
Yeah, you know, like I opened up one crate, I got a blue. I was like, oh, but that means that the next one I might get
I'm
get
due
something
for a
good.
Mythical.
It's the gambler's fallacy, and it totally applies to everyone, honestly. Gosh dang.
Mm-hmm. Well, I feel like the only reason you buy a like normal January crate is just to get, you know, a mythical whatever skin you get. Really,
Definitely.
it's not even you can choose like the mythical effect or what kind of skin you get it on. You just get it on a random skin. You can get up. I don't know. Let's see, like the one sawed off skin. What was it called? It was
The Duro Master
or
Key?
something?
Yeah.
Yeah, like why would you want a Duro Master Key with like a steampunk when you have a small slight chance of getting a steampunk Uzbeknikov with the effect, but it's just
I
don't
think.
know.
Oh, go ahead.
I just don't think the crate's really worth just not having them on the stockpile by themselves.
I kind of feel you on that one as well. Does anybody else feel it's kind of weird to rank skins in a crate? Doesn't that like make the creators feel bad if their skin's a blue rather than a purple or maybe a pink? Because if I got a skin in game and I saw it was a blue and this one that I didn't think was better than mine got pink, I would feel like crap. You know?
I never quite thought of that, but I suppose yeah,
Like,
yeah, it would.
Yeah. I think I'd just be happy because he got in.
I don't know, it feels just weird. Like, say, like Duro deserved blue. I'm sorry to say, no one wants a sawed off skin, but
Well, hold
Like-
on, man. Cult Nation, bruh.
oh yeah, Cult Nation. But like, say there's a really cool skin that you're like, oh, I'll pay for like $2 on the stockpile for that, but you see it like ranked as a blue on the January crate, and then you just have, you know, a regular like striped line that's like a pink. It's like, what's really the point of having the crate then, or having them all ranked?
Yeah.
Great.
And that's the whole thing about being able to evaluate a specific skin's value and then paying. And if you think that is the appropriate value, then you can buy it from the stockpile.
You know what I really wonder though? These people who make a specific skin for like 40 different items, right? And then gets like, let's say 3 of them inside this crate, right? Leaves no variety for anybody else to get, you know.
I'm definitely with you on that. Does anybody remember like the big uproar on Reddit?
Oh boy.
Story by yours.
It was a meme. I remember.
Like the main argument was, why are we getting skins that are already on the stockpile but on different weapons in the crate? Because whenever you have like 7 skins out of 16 or 19 skins in the crate that are already in the game, like on the stockpile, on different guns, it doesn't really give us that much variety. It feels like we're unboxing the same thing, but we're just paying more for it.
Oh yeah, I mean, it got to the point where I couldn't tell the difference between like half of them unless you put them side by side. You know, it was getting like super repetitive.
Yeah.
Cough, Fan Talk series.
By the way, that's another thing that annoys me. Whenever you guys are playing the game, like maybe Arena or maybe just normal survival occasion, you know how there are so many era skins or fan talks? Whenever you see those weapons from far away, I don't know what gun they have. If it's a Maple Strike or a Timberwolf, it could be anything because that skin's on basically almost every gun. I don't know what gun they have.
Is that a Peacemaker or is that, you know...
Dude, it affects me horribly in Alpha Valley. Like, I'm on Alpha Valley, I like, they're so far away, or even at medium range, I still can't tell what gun it is until I'm dead by it, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good sometimes, though, because then you can just see them, like, in the grass with a fucking glowing sniper rifle, like, there's a guy right there, what the fuck?
Yeah, but what if it's not a sniper rifle? What if it's an Eagle Fire or a Maple
He just
Strike?
jumps out with a minigun and just sprays you down.
Yeah, it's like, how am I supposed to know?
You're just supposed to be, like, the best skin finder ever, dude, that's why. I don't know, just, like... I'm tired of bright and shiny skins that are just futuristic lines.
I mean, like, I haven't seen a realistic skin forever.
Like, Steampunk was cool, but then all you see is a Fantox Timberwolf and then Fantox Maple Strike, and it's just got really bad. Like, I don't want that.
I will
I
agree,
do think
though.
it's died down a bit.
Yeah, it's died down a bit ever since the Reddit post. Like, everyone's like, all the creators saw it and they're like, damn, we can't keep doing this because people are going to start hating on us. And you see some of them changing their ways, you know, making... actual original stuff instead of making just lines and lines of the same series.
I remember the boombox, what's it called, Eagle Fire or Maple Strike?
Yeah, definitely, yes.
That's a prime example of a creative idea that just,
super good.
I mean, like, it literally, the gun was a rifle that looked like a boombox. You had the little VHS, the VHS on the side, or whatever tape player thing. I don't even know anymore. I'm too young for this. But
Cassettes.
But yeah, cassette, and honestly, it was just such a unique idea, a great take, and I don't see anything like that on the marketplace. I don't at all. and then we see like the Duro skins, which
Those make me sick. I'm not gonna lie.
God, just
They don't catch my eye at all.
just make something
am
unique,
I
like
playing?
the lava lamp stuff. I saw that. That's cool. That's really neat. I saw it on like 5 different things, but that's not the point. It's a lava lamp, and everyone knows it's a lava lamp, and there's not a second person making a lava lamp.
I
Create
feel like
unique ideas.
I feel like a series gun, like a whole series, should not be accepted. Like one gun out of that series can be accepted, but like why should the whole entire series be in the stockpile? Really?
I mean, 2 at most. I mean, because like what the hell? Honestly.
It's way too many. When you see like 4 and 5, it's just a jumble of colors at this point.
Just like might as well
Yeah.
make your own box, your own crate to you know what, that's what they should do. You know what? If people want to sell, this whole collection of this gun skin, why don't they make their own crate of their own gun
No,
skin?
no, Quas, no, but that way.
Claus, you better stop.
That way it's
stop
their
right
own
now.
individual box. I don't know.
That's it.
That way
Let's
it's
just take out
not
the gun
getting in
skins
the
entirely.
way of everybody else, having their own normal gun skin put into the game.
Okay, you better stop right there, kiddo. How about we just all buy
I don't
yellow
know,
gun skins? Don't even have any,
I think I have to disagree with you guys, wanting to limit certain series, because some series are awesome.
Okay, but then...
Let's say you get the coolest series. These gun skins, I mean, they just,
Well, name a series
they're
that
very
doesn't
unique and you like
seem
them.
like it would be repetitive.
And if people want to buy them, people want to buy them. Like, why does it hurt to have the same series in the game?
Because if there's so many skins on multiple guns, if there's this one single skin spread across probably like maybe 12 guns, at far to medium range, there's no way to deteriorate which weapon they have. So I don't want to rush them if I think they have a maple strike. But if it looks like a grizzly, I may have a chance to rush at them. I'm fully geared out. I could probably get them. It's semi-automatic. They're going to miss most of their shots. When I get sprayed down with 50 bullets from a maple strike, I'm gone. And I thought it was a grizzly.
Yeah.
I could agree with both of you on this. I mean, yes, I totally agree with that, Union. I hate it when I can't even understand what I'm even up against in a competitive scene. But let's say, for the consumer, let's say I do like a skin. Let's say I really like the Duro skin, but I really want it on a Colt. And I can't get that because it's only for these other 5 different guns. That's where the crate comes in. They get a,
Oh my
they get
God.
A, they get a,
You better stop, dude. Seriously, just stop. Hey guys,
I don't
got
know
idea.
about the crate
You
idea.
know that one repetitive line of skins? Yeah, let's make a crate just for that repetitive line of skins. Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah, but they spend
Like,
they spend
I don't
$1
know.
and then it goes straight to the person.
I don't like this idea.
Oh, no, I want to hear what Baker was saying. Go ahead.
I don't know. I don't really agree with Quaz about having a whole crate for one specific person, but I do agree that it, if a skin is popular enough, then people, and of course the creators port their skins over to different guns, then people might want to have basically all their entire inventory have a certain theme.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Whether it's Duro or steampunk or whatever it happens to be.
Well, I mean, like, comparing Unturned to CSGO has this kind of... They have their weapons all differ from each other. You can tell what weapons they have.
Yeah.
Rather, the skins are the same thing on this, like, different guns. It doesn't matter if the skin represents anything on all these guns. In CSGO, it's very easy to understand if they have an AWP or maybe if they have an M4. It's really easy, like I said. But in Unturned, most of the gun silhouettes kind of look the same. Like the Maple Strike and Eagle Fire look very similar. The Grizzly is almost identical to the Timberwolf at far range. You can't really defer it. Most of the guns, I mean, hell, the Colt and the Desert Falcon really basically look the same from far away. Or the Chris correct in this opinion, It's just really hard to defer.
I think that is not necessarily at fault of the skin makers, but rather just the art style and the way Unturned is. I mean, Unturned has never been designed to be very competitive, at least not at this point, It's always been a game about just going around shooting people and surviving and messing around. It's not ever been meant to be taken very, very seriously in terms of a competitive aspect.
I think a solution for that would be like, to let people be able to like distinguish certain weapons from one another, along with being able to buy the skins they want, is to just implement like a server config setting that lets you disable cosmetics on your server, and that way, when people join, they won't be able to toggle their skins on, and then the other people will be able to tell what weapon they've got.
But
And it's
then
kind of like the
people-
best of both worlds.
But then people will be mad that they bought a skin, they can't even use it on like a server they like, so then that causes the
Well,
whole
I mean,
thing.
that's all the server thing,
Yeah.
isn't it? I mean, I don't know. That's like the best solution I can think of. Of course, I could see what you're saying. They'd be like pretty mad, but
Yeah.
Or
I mean,
I
there's
have a
plenty of
good
other
idea as
servers.
well. What about instead of doing that, just make the guns have different sounds? Most guns don't sound different. They're just reused assets from other weapons.
About to become CS:GO right now, dude. I swear.
Wait, could you give an example of that? Because I think, as far as I can tell, all the guns have different noise.
Say like Peacemaker, and then I don't know, Bulldog. Those sound very similar to me. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, they're similar. Don't get me wrong, but as far as exact same, I believe they're
Can you
different.
tell the difference between a Heartbreaker
I mean, that's
and a Maple
kind of
Strike?
why I said reused. Some of them sound
Oh,
familiar.
actually, Heartbreaker and Maple Strike. No, yeah,
I
I
can't.
can.
I don't know why.
Heartbreaker's
It might
deep.
Well,
just
what
be
about
Heartbreaker's
an Eagle
deep.
Fire and a Maple Strike? They basically have the same sound. Just one of them just goes.
Those ones are the same. You might be right about
Yeah,
that.
Two that defer to me are kind of like the Grizzly and the Timberwolf. One sounds sped up and one sounds more deep pitched. But they still, like, from far away, you don't really know how to defer it unless you, like, 100% sure exactly know the sounds.
But I mean, what
And
if
that
he's
just
not
comes
fired
with
his weapon
experience.
Do I, Baker?
when you're looking at him?
I just said that being able to tell the sounds apart comes from experience.
It's kind of hard to experience when you hear like 4 Maple Strikes being shot and then 2 Eagle Fires, and you're like, well, it's time to go play roulette. I don't know. Like most of the Russians' guns, they have their own same sounds as well. Like some of them sound the same. Like Cruise, whatever that one that starts with a K and a Tech 9. They sound very
dude.
similar.
Doesn't the Fuse-a-Lot sound like the Eagle Fire as well?
Oh yeah, Fuse-a-Lot kind of sounds like it, but not really. Just like a little bit more of a deep kind of shot.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like most of the military guns do sound the same as well. Just the respective gun groups kind of sound the same.
And I mean, it just comes down to the direction that Nelson wants to take Unturned. I mean, does he want to keep it where it is right now, which is a more casual game, or does he want to make improvements to make the game more competitive?
More of a Daisy or H1 kind of thing. Is that
Yeah.
not?
I don't think people would take that seriously though with the art style.
Uh-huh.
They wouldn't probably give it a chance if it was a game like that.
You
But,
never know, though.
You never know.
You would have to
Yeah,
add like
exactly.
hardcore survival as like a thing you can do. Because right now it's just basically use third person, just get loot and just call people like bad because mad or something like that. That's basically it right now.
Yeah, pretty much.
But you know, he could change that. He can do whatever he wants to the game. It's just whatever he wants to do to it.
I guess the question
I mean,
is, where
yeah.
is the direction going to be heading?
It's been basically the same for a while now. Like you haven't seen it change. Just casual survival and PvP.
I guess we'll just have to wait and see what he has planned.
He could make it.
I think honestly, it kind of lies in the community's hands. He has added modules and all that stuff. He's allowed a lot of room for the community to create things for his game.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, you know,
You
the
can make
community
it.
can take it in its own directions.
You can make it more hardcore, where it's like you jump off a building, you break your leg for like an hour, like DayZ. Or you can just make it. You find a splint, fix it, there, go keep fighting against those people, who keep shooting you.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think this would be a good place for the end of the podcast. I think that was a good podcast. It was really good.
I highly
That
agree.
was good. Yep.
All right. So is there anything you guys would like to say before we do end off the podcast, going from Hold Baker first?
No, I think we had good pacing. Like, there was no people talking over each other. Everyone, yielded the floor to each other at certain times, which is good. Yeah, I liked it. I think I had a really fun time.
Nilex?
Yeah, I think it was really good. I just want to say that, although we did debate a lot about the sort of nitpicky things that are wrong with, certain aspects of the game, I think overall, we can all agree that the game is very, very polished, very, very fun, and we love it a lot. So yeah, that's all for me.
Phantom?
I feel the game at this point is up to the community now. They can speak on the Reddit, or they can just tell their opinions, but it's really in the community's hands.
And Quaz.
Kind of a combination of everybody, but I guess the way I'm going to word it is that the game is honestly, it's really fun. I've been excited for it ever since 2.0. And no matter what Nelson does, I'm still going to play the game. It's really fun. The community has all the tools that they really need to create and add new things, and I just am excited for the future.
And for my opinion, I think the game, for it to have gotten this far and for it to have received so much attention from the public, it had to do something in the beginning to get to where it was. And Nelson's really taken the game in such a good direction to where it is right now that no matter what comes out, good or bad, we're always going to be there to play his game because, like we said, it is a very fun game. There's nothing ever bad to it with us. Sure, we may point out some things that we're not too interested or may have not been kind of up to our standards, but in the same sense, we'll probably just deal with it eventually over time. But yeah, the game is amazing, and I think this podcast went amazingly well. So, to anybody who have enjoyed this podcast, thank you so much for listening to the end. Thank you all for coming. Thank you, Baker, Nilex, Phantom Miner, QuasarZed, and myself for all coming and meeting at this time to talk about the game. And hopefully everybody enjoyed the podcast, and we will see you in episode 2 coming out maybe next week or a few days after coming up this Friday. So, thank you guys for coming with us, and see you next time.